Alrighty, my gamers, gear enthusiasts, this is the weekly bounty hunters that you're watching right now. Coming up soon is 7 show matches that happen every Sunday, starting at 5 p.m. CET. Oh shit, that's almost the bot now. Open to everyone to participate, of course. The name of the game, as per usual, is Guilty Gear Strive, and the format is first to 7 win. I'm your usual host, QK, and how about we just jump in and start analyzing what's in for today's bouts. So tonight's show has gone through a couple of changes, has taken a couple of hits. Unfortunately, we don't have the usual player cards tonight, since our graphical designer is somewhat critically ill. Get well soon, Altini. But also the roster today went through a lot of changes between the announcement and now. I think at least 3 people dropped out, and we had to cancel one of the slots. So let's see. Of course, our number one slot is no more, but Strelitzia got a new opponent, and Mask got a new opponent as well. Thanks to both Annatonio and Thunder Kitty for hopping on such a short notice. Especially the first one says Strelitzia versus Annatonio in the number 1 slot is a rematch. Annatonio's potential revenge arc, if you will. It was back in season 3, I believe, when these fellas met previously, something like 5 months ago perhaps. So there are decent amount of small changes to the matchup through the seasonal changes to the characters that could alter the records of, you know, Strelitzia's strong pulling ahead last time. And the Asuka action does definitely not end there, since we've got Zoe following up after the entry match. Opponent will be Jakubiq, so a very strange matchup between two rather non-standard characters, would you say, Asuka and Zato. Don't even ask me about the matchup, we'll just have to learn it as we go today. But that's part of the fun though, isn't it? In the fourth slot, we've almost got 2 players with new characters. Ruby is certainly hopping in with May for the first time, but as for Nepal, I think we've seen them on Slayer once already, along the usual bedmans that they've used to take in for a spin when it comes to bounty hunter matches. What else? We could have had 4 Potemkins today, by the way, and even with the first slot cancelled, we do have 3, namely the old man ZoKHiZ himself in the slot number 5, as well as a Potemkin mirror at the end of the show. And speaking of that mirror, I think this is Gentleman's debut match on Bounty Hunter as well. I'm pretty sure. Other games, or even gamers, are part of the regular gear already, so to speak. And yeah, in the 6th slot also we've got Masked, one of our East Coast NA players, making a return to fight Thunder Kitty Johnny, hailing from Norway. Once again, big thanks for taking up the standing up to the occasion and filling in, since the previous opponent had to bail on a short notice. Hoping that it's gonna be okay, the connection that is. I think the East Coast to West Coast Europe has been so far okay when it comes to masked matches. But yeah, let's circle back to the slot number 1. I think I already see Strelitzia in the lobby, so let's put a word out for the remaining half of the player base. That's a kind of funny way to say it. All right. So Asuka and Gio. This is, I guess, our top seed match of tonight, if you could call it that. That's actually pretty... I actually like that top seed matchup, rather than saying this is the highest skill level matchup of the evening. That kind of sounds better, not bringing down the, the other players who are, no doubt, extremely talented, although sometimes, only so many players can rise up to the occasion and make it maybe top 8 in weekly super high level tournaments. And these two players are certainly of the caliber that could do it. And I think Strelitzia especially has been up there. I think Annatonio as well. But especially during the era where Asuka was like rather new and at his highest peak of power, I think Strelitzia has been making it to top 8s here and there. Oops, we definitely don't have the player cards for tonight, so skip that. Did I also forget to boot my scoreboard? So let me do a little switcherino. Professional gameplay, by the way. Alright, that should be everything ready to go. So how Asuka matchup usually works is you have lots of spells that are hard to counter, but the basic building blocks, the natural, or rather the normal cubes, which are the blue cube, the orange cube, and the green cubes, generally do have quite a bit of counterplay. You usually want to try to poke into Asuka's cubes, and if your character has good cancel options, you would love to go into those. If you just stand there and take them, try to just go over the cubes, it's usually not gonna work out right, because a lot of these spells, a lot of these cubes have very high angles, especially the green one. Alright, combo into... We got the ball rolling. Also, pay attention to what test case Strelitzia is going to be playing today. We've seen a lot of different strategies. Currently rocking the test case, is this 3, I believe. Or is this 2? No, it's 3. It's the 3 satellites here. But now, Guard Crush from the spell shield break. This is a big opportunity. This should actually kill. Yeah, unless Strelitzia goes for the burst and saves themselves. When that mana shield breaks, Asuka starts taking way more damage than any other character in the game and becomes extremely fragile. And that investment of burst, as risky as it may have been, definitely paying up in the first round. Burst is a resource that probably, like, I think in a way makes or breaks Asuka's defensive game. Because like you would love to return back to neutral after your opponent gets a hit, which naturally happens with the burst. Ooh, but the great pounce forward here. And the mana shield is also suffering a lot of damage. Nice super jump, air dash out of the corner. However, Annatonio doesn't let Strelitzia get away with any counter strike afterwards. And with a big combo, break the wall. This is still mana broken. Is this actually a kill? Not quite, but almost. Look at that. Hardly you ever see that kind of combos on like just about any character unless the risk buildup is like complete. But now the mana is back to full. Ooh, the Warriors, he just does not do anything because the game was open. What's the name of that spell? God, we're gonna remember it at some point of the round. Swing and miss, giving Strelitzia with that backdash an opportunity to immediately go into the casting stance, setting up a couple of good cubes and doing a really decent amount of damage on Annatonio already. YRC, yep, really important to get out of those defensive situations as soon as you can, because you are technically a pretty frail character. Ooh, we got a pretty decent hand here, unless... I mean, at the moment, we only actually... We theoretically had a bricked hand there for a moment, but Strelitzia playing it cool, teleporting backwards, cycling a couple of spells, getting into a couple of cubes and hitting them at just at the right time. But this is kind of what Asuka gameplay is gonna be like. Sometimes you don't really know, like, you don't have a good hand to send spells at your opponent. You might have like 3 utility spells and you're like, oh shit, I need to draw something big. Then you just gotta chain cast, hope that you get something. Sometimes you don't, sometimes it doesn't work out, but the variance in gameplay does have a little bit of a touch from trading card games, if you will. Heart of the cards. What are you gonna top deck? Was the room type actually a rematch? I guess we'll see it after the next one, or maybe one of the players just wanted to switch songs or what have you. Alright, Strelitzia with one win under their belt. But make no mistake, if Annatonio gets one chance to strike, it's really easy to topple the momentum immediately, starting the 5k. One of the few buttons that you can actually sort of press on Asuka if you want to do other than just spells. Acceleration staff is down, so basic cubes are guard crushing at the moment as well. Look at how fast they are! That makes it so hard to interact with the cubes as well, because like you're at the very least usually trying to at least react to Asuka's casting animation and pressing like fast buttons such as like standing P or 6P or what have you. But at the moment, Strelitzia completely steamrolling Annatonio with that wall break, should be able to get it, especially with the super BAM! Definitely a momentum character. If you're always on offense, it's like a little bit easier, or like rather easy to maintain a positive resource situation. But things start getting a little funky when the opponent gets their turn and suddenly land hits on a block and take away from your mana, and you're like, all right, I need to cast something in order to make them go into block stun so I can actually recharge my resources and get the gears rolling. Nice jump into the, what is that, the low spell? Terra Metron? Something like that? Couple of attack spells still in hand. Ooh, what was the TK cast into? New spells, overhead, sends it immediately, and this should be a wall break. However, Strelitzia did queue up the spell already there, so didn't get the black hole cube. Oh my god, an anti-air with a just clean 5p. Sees Annatonio jump over, no problem. Don't even have to jump in and go for an anti-air. Press the button, get the simple combo.
Duel 1.
Started with a couple of screamers, especially from a backwards moving momentum. Those screamers are really great way of preventing opponent from coming in. Usually, especially since they guard crush, you would love to make it whiff if possible. Ooh, a very big gamble here. Burst, this will put Strelitzia in a very low mana state, and then pop it goes with the backdash BRC instant overhead. Annatonio is still in a very good position. Whips the air throw, that's bad. Now Strelitzia is gonna test the DK cast and again. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Looks really funky. Teleports away. Put a couple of stuff in there. Gets the gate open just in time. The Rainbow Cube usually, if you cast it as a space control, isn't the best tool because you can just dash into it and press a button and then cancel and go for it. But it does waste a little bit of time for your opponent having to clear those obstacles before they get to you. And during that time when Annatonio was pouncing forward and poking into the big Rainbow Cube, Strelitzia was able to use the... God, I still can't remember the name of the spell. I've casted so many Asuka games and I keep forgetting. There are so many things. Alright, through the wall we go. This isn't quite the mana... Or actually, this is actually guaranteed guard crush there. Or not guard crush, but break on the mana shield. So that will basically leave no hope of survival for Strelitzia. With that heart knockdown off the wall, you can kind of guarantee a little bit of offense unless your opponent would commit to big things like maybe deflect shield. But if you're sure that you're gonna go down, the risk is just way too much. Take it to the next round instead. And now, a couple of buffs active. Got the gate open. Yeah! Unable to get past it. Forced to use the burst here. Overhead spell. Nice block from Annatonio. Stands up. The 2P actually misses there on the combo situation. Got one hit. Open up the gate. And it's one of the best spells to either mix up the opponent or just have a lot of time. Ooh, sees the backdash. However, or rather the throw, able to get out of it initially, but Annatonio combines it with the use of meter. Now, please grant us spells. Annatonio tries to air dash over the big cube, but it is too large. Usually, like we said earlier, the weakness of that big cube is that it barely moves forward. It's quite easy to poke into because the hitbox is rather the hurt box is generously large. But again, you have to kind of make a decision. Am I gonna poke into it? Would
Duel 1.
Asuka in the meantime have time to launch something else which will technically whiff punish me, or am I just gonna try to go over it? At that time Annatonio tried to get over with Ben Foddy and it didn't work out. Ooh, lots of juicy stuff in this hand. More volleys of cubes. Now let's see, with that black hole staff we can actually do quite a lot of nasty little things here. Overhead spell in hand as well. It doesn't manage to stand up in time. Sometimes a little bit of a mix-up when you see the opponent with a particular spell. They don't necessarily have to cast it immediately. And Asuka is a character who, even if they're standing away from you, they technically have a low option at any time. With that exact, or rather, that's one of them if you do have the spell, but 6k is a very, very far-reaching low, which you can threaten the opponent with. And you also have the 2D as well. Is that a low though? I forgot. A big throw and basic spells in hand. There we go with the TK again. It gotta be quite plus, right? It looks really funky. Probably with the frame advantage you can do something like empty low, late air dash, throw, the usual kind of shenanigans. Wire C to get the momentum back. And Antonio very low and taps the 5D. Basic stuff. You can kind of do that without spending meter if you have, you know, spell coverage. But of course, even if you don't, we can do the very, very basic Guilty Gear stuff and just tap it RC and go for a combo. It is still like what 20 frame overhead, so you know, at the border of, you know, can I react to it in time or not. Ooh, the air DP actually catches Annatonio there. Go spiral arrow, catching Strelitzia, trying to regain resources. It's the RPS is like a lot about after a cast, is there gonna be immediately another cast? How many resources is Asuka gonna actually recharge? And depending on how many, like how much value you wanna extract from like one spell, you could do like go for mana recharge, go for redraw. But at that point, if you start doing a lot of things, then your opponent does have an opening to pounce at you. And pounce Annatonio at the moment is... Pop goes the Weasel and seals the fate of the Wizard. There have been a lot of rounds like this where it just the momentum swings really fast and Annatonio just gets the win. But the tricky thing is that like you gotta do that multiple times in a row. And against a very seasoned Asuka player such as Strelitzia, ooh, but this might be an opening. Strelitzia is still quite far away. Well, not too far away from the burst, but decently far away. And, you know, touches in Guilty Gear Stripe can be very explosive, especially if your opponent is completely lacking their go-to defensive mechanism, that is the Mana Shield. Tap the 5D with Annatonio burst immediately. There we go. Couple of seconds before the Mana Shield comes back. There we go. It was so important to get back. What? Was that 5K? Or rather, Jump K hitting from behind and immediately opening the gate, teleporting behind, unleashing that nasty mix-up of the fire volley. And it was looking so, you know, Annatonio advanced. What's the word? Advantage there. But one opening, we get the cast, and now what I'm fighting with this Mulligan Super. Yeah, we got the good stuff. Air backdash, there we go. You can do so much stuff with that. You don't necessarily need to combine that volley of cubes from the gate with other spells. You can just, you know, if you're close range, you can follow it up with something really basic, such as, you know, just jump, empty low, late air backdash. A Guilty Gear mix-up as old as time. Used to be like late air dash forward in older Guilty Gear games, but generally nowadays we do with air back dash in the corner. Wow, Strelitzia already 5 games straight. Damn. He is very consistent. Now, how is Annatonio gonna get that? That's so many screamers. Again, on a character like... Yeah, it stays active for so long as well. On a character like Giovanna, who would love to engage, that's a really tough spell to crack, especially in such multiple amounts. We are back again, lots of plus frames. Strelitzia will kind of have to just tough it out here. Natural ways. They didn't even have the 50 meter to use for YRC that Strelitzia usually would like to unleash if they don't have the burst or the deflect shield ready. Now with the mana shield gone, Annatonio only needs one hit. But can he find it? There's a throw. Oh, that's so much damage. That's like what? What's the mode or the counter hit called in Street Fighter 6? The fail counter? Punish counter? That's a big ass throw there. Ooh, got the backdash. And able to recharge mana back almost to full as well. Finding good stuff. Able to actually before the wall break, able to activate was that I think that was the auto refill for spells. So now a couple of seconds of uninterrupted casting. Get the throw, looking for one more mix-up potentially. Trying to maybe draw out the burst from Annatonio, but Annatonio kind of knows if I watch the burst here, it would be really bad for the next round. Our basic cubes in hand, starting with the 5k again. The 5k looks pretty good against Giovanna's buttons at round start. You don't usually like think about, ooh, cut them low with that multi-hitting 2S, and now maiming for damage. This might even be a mana break. Yes, indeed. Let the dopamine flow in. Backdash, and then there's the clean air throw that Annatonio in one of the earlier rounds did whip, but this time we redeem ourselves, get one in, and yeah, this is a pretty decent opportunity, pretty decent timing to run it back as well. Opponent is still not at 6, so we're not even sweating. Just win 4 in a row here, and it's all gonna be alright. Started with the 5k again. Damn, is that catching like Annatonio's 5 heavy? Is that fast enough for that? Because I think 5 heavy for Giovanna is like, what, 9 frame starter? 10 frame starter? I think it's like 10 frames? Usually like pretty fast button for its range. Got them low. The mana shield is actually gone here, by the way. Oh, so much damage, did you see that? If you were looking at Strelitzia's life bar during that throw, my goodness, that's almost worth a small BMB combo, that single throw, when the mana shield is broken. But now, mana shield definitely back. Ooh, couple of really good buffs here. Gets to cast both of them. And now, we have so many good things coming in. Oh, perfect use of the Screamer as well, preventing Annatonio from escaping the corner. So the Screamer, because it hits such a large area, even if Annatonio was to try to jump out, the Screamer will just pull him back onto the ground. Again, empty into nothing. Wait, that was an empty into just casting resources. I wonder if Strelitzia actually made some sort of an error there. Able to jump out, but won't be able to come down with a successful button. And now Annatonio trying to hold the wizard in the mix-up. Cast straight into a teleport and basic cubes. Frame trap into red wild assault. The shield is still holding. YRC is the play here, trying to draw something good. This is nothing but 2 cards of only utility. So Strelitzia will be able to do nothing with this. This is a lot of utility. Oh my god, the draws there were atrocious. Look at this hand. It's nothing but utility style. But good reaction on Strelitzia to cast the only attack spell that they were able to get there. Start with a big counter hit in the left corner. Annatonio working on that shield. Ooh, nice blocks there as well. Able to jump out and come down with a 2k. Followed up with casts. Strelitzia will have to spend quite a lot of their own health to cast here, actually. So you have a couple of different options for how much you want to recharge your mana. You could just do a free recharge, which will recharge like kind of slow. But you could also pay tension or health for a faster amount of recovery. Oh my god, there's so much stuff coming in. YRC, if the opponent is in range, that's actually a pretty good option. Generally, Asuka players will stand far away from me, and then the tap, no, but the Blue Wild Assault is completely nullified. And now with a positive bonus coming in from the gold RC, or sorry, the gold burst. This should be a kill, right? Yeah, don't even need the burst. Oh my goodness, there were so many clutch things at the very end there. If Annatonio doesn't play everything in that sequence, I think if Annatonio doesn't get the gold burst, that might not end up being a clean-cut victory either. I think, yeah, ZoKHiZ, I did forget to post thingamajig this time around. Sorry about that. Ooh, 3 screamers in hand. Space control extraordinaire. And following it up with the... I'm about to check the name of that spell. I'm seriously bothered. We have another Asuka matchup coming up after this, so I better know the names of these spells. I got the wall break. Not quite enough to kill here. But Annatonio also really prone to taking chip damage against a character like this. BRC option select on the throw, very expensive, but might have to take that risk, especially since Strelitzia has been super good at fuzzy jumping or fuzzy backdashing or just getting out of those throws very consistently. And this is a character that is all about strike throw. I mean, even strike throw characters are much more about that strike, usually in Guilty Gear Strive. But eventually you're gonna have to make them, you know, you gotta make sure that they have to use those escape mechanisms so that they can't just stand there and take the hits. I mean, not that you usually want to do against Giovanna anyway. Wow, the forward dash 5K actually gets there in time before Strelitzia gets the cast, and that's gonna be a kill, right? Yeah, massive damage. Wouldn't kill any of the cast usually, but without that mana shield, oh boy. The multipliers are off the hook. And again, that round start, extraordinary, 5K. The ace card for Strelitzia. Still won't be able to get Strelitzia's game started here. Annatonio, in fact, pushing the offense against the corner. Really nice use of FD there, allowing to create enough distance to get away. But we are again in the corner. On the cast, oh my god, relies on the good old Screamer to get the super off. And now, still kind of struggling getting the right spells in hand. Teleport and Beat Shift are the only things still remaining in there. And no mana to be seen. Wham! Annatonio already doing much better than previously. So for the record, the alt run between these characters, or sorry, these two players, around 4 or 5 months ago used to be, I think it was 7-1 in Strelitzia's favor. And now, it was for a moment it looked like the history might repeat itself because Strelitzia was running away with so much momentum. But now, Annatonio found the courage. Evading a Screamer, that's a big one. Another Screamer gone as well. This is a hard hand for Strelitzia. Can't cast anything immediately. That big cube that you see there, the rainbow cube is... Yeah, it's a slow cast, but again... It works out when Annatonio, has been working out when Annatonio has been trying to approach from the air. Oh, where's the black hole staff? Pulling the cubes backwards, allowing Annatonio to get a little bit of an offensive opening. It's still kind of bamboozling the orbs, however, right below the staff is the sweet spot where the revolution, the what's it called? Physics. The thing that makes thing rotate each other. Damn, English heart language. Ooh, no mercy. Sees that the empty, or rather the hand is rather empty. So get in there. Ooh, 6 pieces into the right direction. Did Strelitzia guess that the axe kick cross-up was coming there? PP is baited a little late on the punish, however, still in a very good position, especially since that mana shield modifier is currently gone. Plus frames from the Spiral Runner, however, to be very brave from Strelitzia, teleports away from the super. Tried to cast. I think Strelitzia was probably thinking that they were outside of the range of that super, but man, that Giovanna super reaches really far away. Was that a hit? I think so, because Annatonio's life is going down. No, that was actually a guard crush. This is with acceleration that goes for the teleport mix-up. There is still a little bit of crevice behind Annatonio. Or, I think even if your back is against the corner, you can always cast the teleport and get in there. Some characters, depending on the fighting game and depending on the character, you might not be able to cross the opponent up when they are standing very close to the corner, just like that. And again, Screamer does get the first hit, but... Alright, it's still close. Forcing Annatonio to burst. 2 Screamers. When are they gonna come out? The spacing there, God! Even Giovanna definitely... the Screamers, look at that! Annatonio will have to contend with all of that. How are you gonna approach it? Cycling through a lot of spells here. Initial hit will allow Strelitzia to get the gates open, and again, the acceleration staff is down as well. God damn! First set point, will Annatonio be able to recover from this. God. I want to say the Screamers working over and over again. It's just basically a massive pillar of red. This round has been nothing but Screamers. But then again, so was the previous round. And now Annatonio is in such a bad position. So little life left. Burst is kind of there. But even if you do burst, what is it going to get? It's going to put you back to neutral against this neutral powerhouse that is Asuka. What are we getting? Lots of good spells. Ooh, that's a very... Oh, however, Annatonio went for an immediate burst. There was no attack spells in Strelitzia's hand, save for the Rainbow Cube. So I think Annatonio kind of knew that there is going to be no casts whatsoever. Or it could have been that Annatonio actually queued up the burst before the flash or during the flash. Either way, there really weren't a lot of like really good options to play there. Because like if you block any cube, you're just done. You're just straight up done. You're gonna be in block stun for such a long time. Probably have to spend all of your attention on FD to negate the chip damage, and if you lose that meter, then what are you gonna make the comeback with? Damn. Still, Strelitzia showing the strength of... Ooh, we don't have player cards for this week. Showing the massive strength of this character. Even after the alleged nerfs when moving between Season 3 and Season 4, not seemingly slowing down Strelitzia at all. Alright, moving on. So, into the slot number 3. Oh, actually, before we start, let me pull out Dustloop Asuka spell list. What is that one spell called? I should, honestly, every time I cast Asuka, I should have this open, right? In case I forget. Arpeggio, that's the word I was looking for. The Playmaker, the spell, the quotation gate that unleashes two volleys of cubes. It's kind of like that one spell that you want to work towards. If you get that out, even if you don't have any other like really good spells in hand, you have a lot of time to cycle and potentially pull better cards. It's really hard for your opponent to get over unless they go for like a double jump at a perfect spacing and timing, or if they place themselves at full screen and then do like low profiling moves to get the lowest volley or like the lowest cubes of the volley. But if you do something like that, that's a very passive play. And usually, like, if you just stand there and take it, the opponent can just cycle or cast more spells. It's kind of like what you can't do against Asuka. You can't just stand there. You really have to contest the incoming cubes whenever you can. Alright, so Zoe and Jakubiq. Am I dumb, or why can't I find Jakubiq's name? Do I not have any skills for Discord? Hello? Oh right, because Jakub had a sort of weird name, right? Is it this one? I think it's... Oh, already. Oh, right. It's not you. It's actually Zoe. Okay. Smart host. All right, another Asuka matchup, but now with a slightly different kind of opponent. So Zato, also a kind of character that would love to take advantage of things other than his normals, as is with Asuka as well. You kind of like to knock the opponent down or something of the sort to be able to take down your puppet, hopefully create a sandwich situation, create lots of unseeable mix-ups. Hopefully build enough meter to be able to perhaps build back all of that puppet gauge that you just spent on your offense and try to snowball like that. But what kind of tools... I keep pulling this player cards thingy, but we don't have player cards tonight. Anyway, what are the things that Zato can actually RPS with? Because like, unless you're a character who has like really good pokes and especially good cancels out of those pokes, what would Zato cancel into? Even if you manage to poke into a cube, I wonder. Is it just we have to get into a proper spacing and get like a invite hell out, drill them out of their casts? Is it gonna be fast enough? I guess we're gonna figure out here just in a second.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society. So
Zoe and Jakub.
They blamed the beasts. Heaven or hell.
I guess you do have some defensive capabilities there in the form of being able to take out the what do you call it? The oppose. Although you generally don't summon as Zato as like defensive mechanism if you can, because like if you take out your puppet before you're ready to go on offense, you're just not gonna have enough meter to do anything. Oh, nice anti-air there. Using the 5Ks. 1, 2, 3. Not getting any more. Now we got highs, we got lows, we got guard crushes in the menu for Zoe. Until Jakub finds the pressure string. This is exactly how it's gonna go. And when you go into the command grab, if you manage to land that, it's a lot of time that you get back by just blocking the opponent in the animation. Being able to recover that puppet gauge is what basically determines your explosive potential when you go on offensive. That actually breaks the mana shield as well, so any hit is gonna be good here. Yeah, just a single hit from the overhead, I believe. And down goes the wizard. Ooh, coming from a very ambiguous angle. Diving down. I guess that's a pretty good option as well, using Break the Law. That means that if you go into the underground, Break the Law, and the opponent keeps on casting, not only are they sort of wasting their resources and spells, but if they keep casting, if they keep putting themselves in that recovery animation, nice! Sees the button coming out and determines I can actually throw here with the slowdown frames. Unsummon and summon back action. Of course, the purpose of manually summoning away the pet is that when you do, it kind of boosts your remaining, kind of returns your summon gauge really fast in the follow-up situation. We're gonna get a drop here, so got my keyboard is not cooperating today. And while I was transpiring, I also forgot who won that one. Was he Jakub? I think it was Jakub who took it, right? Pose is really important. Flight as well. Yeah, I can imagine, because like you can jump pretty high as Zato, and if you take flight, you can waste a lot of time. And a lot of Asuka spells just don't go in, like don't reach an angle that you can reach with flight. So I imagine then you're kind of like, if you want to do something about it, you would have to use your normals, maybe try to match their jump. And things like that are not exactly what Asuka would like to do. Asuka would like to cast spells instead and not use their normals. All right, now that the game is transpiring, let's do this so we can get our players back into the lobby. Actually, I can do a cheat thing here and check room rankings. Yeah, it's Jakubiq to Tuki, right? Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was only testing you guys, if you knew. Pierce beats single spells? Interesting. Gonna keep an eye on that if that's a tool that comes into play. But it's really cool to know, like, specific kind of tools that you have to focus on in a particular matchup. Usually if I interview players for data for casting, I usually ask questions like, so what does your character have to do different in this matchup compared to other matchup? What are the tools that are the sort of playmakers of the matchup? And you often get stuff like, all right, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you can't do this. Stuff like, yeah, you gotta use a pose to guard yourself. Yeah, you gotta use flight. And then interesting interactions such as, yeah, Pierce can beat single spells. All right, looks like it's Jakubiq taking another one in a row. Flip this back to a rematch, and we're ready to rock it. From a 2-0 lead, the Asuka player, sorry, not the Asuka player, the Zato player taking the lead. Of course, this is a very interesting matchup at this particular skill level. Two characters that are quite technical. Zato will basically have to possess a inputting technique that can be very strange to many starting players, which is of course the negative edge. Usually you control your main body by pressing a button, and historically you control the puppet by releasing a button, which we call the negative edge. So you kind of have to hold some buttons while you do stuff, then release buttons at the right times. It's a little bit of finger DDR if you are not used to it. And of course, we all know how difficult Asuka is. It's a lot of finger DDR as well, but also like takes a lot of split-second decision making for, you know, checking what spells you have, decide what you're gonna cast, and then when you're recharging your spells, immediately like snap going, all right, I got this spell, I got this spell, I can use it here or I can't use it here. So going for an early burst, taking out the puppet. However, Jakubiq able to waste enough time to get the pressure going again. And even though the puppet is gone, so is Asuka's mana shield here just in a second. One hit into Executor is gonna recharge all of that puppet gauge back. Ooh, with the 2B here, perfectly placed. I wonder, was that a timing mistake or what? Or wait a minute. I think I've heard talks about some of the Pierce cancels being now mashable from certain normals. Is that it? Is that what happened there with Zoe? Right, we got the wall break, but we are a little low on the puppet gauge. Ooh, straight goes for a raw blue wild assault, and that hits home as well. Following it up with that command grab, get a full clean gauge of, ooh, perfect, reads the burst. And then into recharge, nice, that gets the wall as well. There are just so many things going in Jakubiq's favor. I think, what can you even do here other than use your resources and try to defend yourself out of that situation? Misses the jump in attack as well, or was that even that might have been an air throw as well. So comes down straight into the punish of Jakubiq. Damn, beastly offense. It is a very different kind of sort of momentum to this matchup as well, because, you know, often enough the problematic characters for you is as a Zato is, ooh, there we see the oppose, able to draw a couple of hits, fly over the cubes as well. Yeah, exactly like the chat told us. However, coming out of the break the law with not enough frame advance, getting thrown for their troubles, and now time for Zoe to put a couple of a couple of spectacles on the table until the mana shield got broken. It's kind of, yeah, you have to manage your resources really well. Not just the spells, but also the mana. Good anti-air. Breaks the mana shield again. Still in the sandwich there. Both players looking for their primary resources to come back. However, Jakubiq the first to get the 2S in. A 2S counter hit into a drill. Classic sequence that you can definitely do. Let's go with the oppose a little too early. So now, as the puppet gauge is recharging, using the fly as best as possible to buy time. There it is again, the 2P. Able to sort of interrupt the pierce hits. Now there's the TK cast into an actual overhead. But didn't have enough mana to cast. Was kind of forced to go into the mana recharge. But not enough frames. Jakubiq strikes back. Give me some time. This is another really great option to, you know, stall and make the opponent stop. One of the fastest supers in the game as well. Not really full invo, but if you get it out, it's usually a favorable situation for you. Tap 5D. However, we don't have the juice to follow that up. No puppet, no meter for RC, but no matter, it is still on hit. I think it's 0, right? So it's rather neutral situation. It is technically one option to stall for a time, like if you can't do anything else. It's like, all right, they got hit, and we go back to neutral frame advantage situation. Right, both players jumping forward, close slash. Works as a makeshift anti-air, or maybe even cat Jakubiq on the landing frames. But now, we got the sandwich, misses the command grab, that's a critical one. Now gonna be without the body for a couple of seconds here. And a good anti-air timing as well. No flight utilized this time. YRC was really on the edge of being too close, but still registers on the wizard. Break the law is active. Mana is very low as well. We need to fix that somehow, because if we just block, it's gonna pop eventually. One hit, there it is, there it goes. And now we are, I guess it's still like a kind of a tricky situation, but kind of not, because your opponent didn't have the puppet ready yet. And I mean, the pressure from puppetless Zato, not really the nastiest thing in the world. Break the law, makes the 2D miss, and then we're just dancing here. Jakubiq is actually being surprisingly aggressive for a Zato, but I guess it's kind of like the matchup that demands you to be so. Because you don't want your opponent to just start casting at you and like just being stuck in a block stun, because you're not the most defensive character in the game either. Lots of buffs. Do we get to activate them? 3 really good buffs that that Zoe would like to activate, and then a screamer to go with them. There we go. They are casted. So in a really good situation for a couple more seconds. We have the overhead spell. We have some stall. It is flowing pretty well. 2 overheads. Gee, Zoe, how does your mom let you have all of these things? But I guess if you get the time to cast so many of those buff spells that bring you, you know, cheaper mana costs, you know, bump up your mana regeneration, even give you an ability to get your spells back immediately after you cast. If you get stuff like that active enough, it's gonna be smooth sailing, smooth casting maybe even from that point on. Ooh, go for a reversal throw. Nice jump B, pulling Zoe back onto the ground. YRC buying a little bit of time, however, wakes up with a 6B. No mercy. If you're going for a high-profile poke, far slash, 5k, stuff like that, usually gonna be able to go under. You would probably have to be in like a position of close enough position to get a close slash out if you wanted your buttons to just be clean and not low profileable with those reversals, reversal 6Ps. Right, it looked good for a while for Zoe, but not quite able to squeeze the win out. Are we good here? Is this my end? Drop frames? What is happening here? Okay, I'm not dropping frames on my end at least. What the hell? I've never seen anything like this. Hello? Servers, please? Can we watch the match? There we go. Okay. That was weird. Right, activating the buff spell and getting a straight hit there with the angle of the cube. Trying to recharge spells in the air. However, Jakubiq ready with the anti-air on the landing. Yeah, this hand ain't the greatest. And the resources especially. I think Zoe has had a lot of trouble with especially keeping the mana resource in check. Nice backdash into a... What was that? That was like a BRC jump D into like an instant throw punish. Nice, good oppose there, drawing the spell, and then immediately into counter offensive, because you can, like, once the puppet is out, you can immediately send them at the opponent, and if the opponent is doing something like, I don't know, recharging mana or trying to draw more spells, they are susceptible to hits afterwards. Switch aside, and now the mix-ups. The lows are initially blocked, but there are so many more to come, and now comboing into, or not quite comboing into the Sun Void. Making sure that the puppet gauge is high. Very important back throw. Now, ooh, good blocks on the F-Shiki, although latter end of there was negated by the deflect shield. Uses another deflect shield, in fact. And that prompts Zoe to use the aggressive counter burst. There we go. Both players spending a lot of resources on this round. But of course you would, especially as the player who is kind of boxing you in the corner, you would probably love to maintain that position if possible, right? So you use as many resources as your opponent if you can have the last word in. All right, with the Sun Void again, the preferred wall break, bringing back the puppet gauge, and now just delaying a little too much, allowing Zoe to jump out of the pressure string. We have spells. Kind of low on mana. I think used health to recharge that mana as fast as possible. The jump beat once again, the air-to-air button of choice. Gets a really nice combo with it as well. Maybe looking for the burst. However, the timing. Ooh, look at that! The perfect oppose into a Pierce. The timing, that was an excellent showcase of exactly what we were told earlier. Oppose great, and then Pierce also really great. Threading the needle, going between the spells. Jakubiq looking really good here. Definitely knows the matchup. Definitely knows the tools that you gotta use to overcome the wizard. Good jump, rather round start, goes for a jump to go over the low profile pocket. Jakubiq wasn't able to get the anti-air out there. Blue burst won't be able to summon into the oppose in time. However, back throw, delivering once again. The classic, break the law, evade the 2D once again, but here comes the back throw from Zoe. Let's be fair, both players get their back throws. Missing the combo, are we still good? No, drift straight into the 6P, that is active. But then, lots of scramble back and forth. But I mean, you are usually in a much better position in those scramble situations if you are. Oh, look at that again! Summoning to oppose into Pierce, going through the spells, and now we got the wizard in the corner. However, really nice jump, air dash out of the corner. Actually goes over that too heavy from Zato, which was, I believe, like one of the functions. Ooh, what a FRC! Maintains the momentum. There we go, anti-air from a really weird angle. Was that a sandwich anti-air that I saw? Really cool situation here. And with the back throw now, Jakubiq is technically on the first set point position here. Starting with the screamer, blow them back. The timing on that oppose has to be perfect, because you can sort of choose how many frames, how many seconds, how long you want to hold that shield. And you usually want to hold it just enough so that it can absorb spells, but then again, you're gonna have a follow-up. You want to have a follow-up afterwards as fast as possible. Ooh, we're going for a ride. Mana shield is gone. That could almost kill. Not just almost, that's straight up kills with the 5D sequence I've never seen before. With that, what is that, jump heavy? Is that? The button that looks like 6 heavy on the grounded sequences. A nice ping pong combo on a no mana shield Asuka, guaranteeing Jakub a clean 7-0 sweep. That is matchup confidence for sure. Was it 7 already? Was it? I hope so. I hope that I didn't miscount again. That wouldn't be the first time, or the second or the third. Alright, that will be the Asuka matchups of the evening. Now moving on to the more explosive matchups. I mean, Asuka can be, you know, explosive enough, but now for the rest of the show, we got some very classic, super explosive characters coming up, such as Mei, Slayer, Potemkin, Mr. Bad Guy himself. Heck, even characters like, I guess the only character in the roster left is Ino, who doesn't hit that hard, but definitely makes you sweat in different kinds of ways. The next one would be Nepal versus Ruby here. Got both players in the room already. So the queer thing here is that Ruby is usually an Elfelt main, but as I've understood, does have a couple of characters that can, you know, kind of do stuff as well, not necessarily as good as the Elfelt, but, you know, able to pull their weight. Mei being one of those. Nepal also has had one game on Bounty Hunters already on Slayer. How did that matchup actually go? Let me check. Oh, actually, it was actually Nepal's first game that they played on Slayer. I got the timeline incorrect. Because it was Slayer, then Bedman twice, and now it's back into the Slayer pick. All right.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society.
I've heard from a couple of Finnish sources that this matchup not necessarily the best for Mei. But I forgot what are exactly the, or was it? No, it was actually, no, it's not this matchup. It's the Mei versus Johnny matchup that I've heard more stuff about. But this should be a massive brawler as well. Both characters can, you know, on a moment's notice, launch themselves at the opponent. You know, Mappa, P-Mappa, K-Mappa from Slayer, as well as the Dolphins from Mei. And even something like instant air dash jump slash is a really fast engagement tool for Mei if the opponent is sleeping. Got a bit of 5k, small combo, not enough meter to convert into big stuff. ZoKHiZ counter hit, Nepal knows that was probably gonna lead into a kill unless you go for a burst. And especially since Nepal was holding a lot of meter resources, would have definitely liked to utilize this that round. But unfortunately, whoa, what? The 2 heavy didn't hit there? That must have been the perfect pixel for Ruby to stand at. Yeah, we got the ZoKHiZ. So the slower version of the Dolphin, the heavy Dolphin, is quite plus on block, whereas the S version is minus. So you would have to, but it's kind of tight frame-wise. You have to know or be ready to press a button and also know the RPS options depending on what Mei does after that S Dolphin. Generally, doing nothing is the worst possible option, because if Mei realizes that, hey, you're not actually trying to do anything about my minus frames. Ooh, checks for a 5D. However, Nepal stands up some blocks that. Good job aligning with the Master's Hammer, coming down with a punish. Another tool that you can't... Ooh, let me get a word out to the players. I've got a lot of DCs today. And we had that really weird, situation where the spectator was behind and the round was played on basically fast forward. Are the servers okay at the moment? Hello? Oh yeah, Ruby snatches the first one. And I think the players noticed as well, so we will be able to get all the games in without losing any footage. Some of the menu options do seem a little laggy today, so who knows if the servers are just not doing too hot today. Would it be the first time? But yeah, I'm getting flashbacks of like really fast vanilla kind of Mayplay. Because like especially during the first steps of Guilty Gear Strive, May was much stronger than she is today. Believe it or not, she's still quite the character, but especially the dolphin part of her kit used to be really, really abrasive, because the RPS was much better, even on minus for her. Nowadays, it's kind of like pretty clear-cut RPS where she would have to backdash if she wants to get out of the potential counter poke, for the most part. So it's like backdash or strike, and then you could pick like your fastest poke, or a low profile, or maybe even a 6P if you think the opponent will try to poke you with a far slash or something. There's still a little bit of nuance to that matchup. Or sorry, that RPS situation. But Ruby has been using that a lot. Ooh, who misses the combo here? Another try? Maybe waiting for the burst. However, Ruby is still quite healthy and can afford to delay that burst. To a very strong effect as well, gets to take it to the next round. Ooh, that's a big counter hit. Now let's see the combo. Actually goes for the big money 5D fully charged. Gets a whiff punish on the 6 heavy charge as well. Those are gonna be big things with punishing stuff like May. Trying to do 5 heavy at mid-screen, whiffing that button, you know how strong that is. Or even the reacting to 6 heavies. That's more of a thing on defense though. Ooh, we got that air hit there from, was that an It's Late? Punish with the dolphin. So one thing I was trying to say earlier, about that we get a big 2 heavy counter hit. One of the go-to buttons that you wanna be counter hitting, especially as Slayer. Get the wall break, very decent amount of damage. This could be a chance for Nepal to put himself on the board. Misses the jump K and immediate snatch out of the sky by May, or either Ruby. But the life advantage already at a very, very good position for Nepal. Evening it out 1-1. Yeah, completely different looking game here for Nepal from the round 1, where we just tried to press on the heavy dolphin this time. Yeah, it's really important to distinguish between those dolphins. I think that time it was a heavy dolphin that Ruby was trying to do. Some even say that you can straight up, that's a big counter hit from a 5 heavy. Hitting it again, fishing. It's one of the biggest party starters for May, so you can't blame the players hitting that button. It's very fast on recovery as well, as sneaks a 5D in there. Was that what you meant to press, Ruby? Nevertheless, it worked. If there's like one good 5D in the game, I think it's May, because May has like some interesting disjoint and very, I think, very non-traditional range on that 5D as well. Sometimes we see stuff like round start 5D, fully charged round start 5D, punishing some stuff and just launching players or the characters straight into a big 5D combo. To the other side, and again, we got the combo on point this time. The 2S looping into those big side switches, a little hard to pull off. I mean, not the hardest thing in the world, but you definitely have to spend a decent amount of time in training mode to get those maximum damage combos going for Slayer. Ice jumps over the heavy dolphin. And it's coming again. You have to try to make it stop somehow. And with the RC, sees the opponent in the air, goes for the classic El Clasico. In that situation, I think Nepal might have actually been still recovering out of a button. So that was a sequence that you can't break. But generally, if you are neutral in the air and the opponent is below you while they're using RC to slow down the time, it's just straight off like a throw break RPS. If you think they're gonna go for an instant air throw, you'll just have to commit it and press the tech in the air. But if they don't, if they're planning on going for a strike instead, then you're gonna miss that throw, put yourself in a counter hit situation. And speaking of the counter hits here, getting out of this corner, surprisingly unscathed here, Nepal, despite taking a couple of big 5 heavy counter hit starters. The counter poking here. Ooh, finding the counter hit. Lots of counter hits actually, let's it's a very brawl kind of a matchup. We were kind of expecting that to begin with. And now, at the 50 meter, which means ZoKHiZ can be RC cancelled successfully. You can usually follow most of May's normal hits into an S-Dolphin, but unless you have 50 meter, those are generally just gonna end there, right? The other sort of exception for that rule is if you get counter hit Dolphin starters, you might be able to follow up those with even into a command grab if you are in a good position. Ooh, the 5 heavy actually trades! It was reasonable to assume that you might be able to press a really fast button. However, there's that throw break. 2B initially prevents Nepal from coming in, but then the big party starter too heavy. We got the combo. Ooh, we actually resetting it. Vampire 5K. Make them tech in the corner and then go for a clean meaty there to finish it off. Ooh, the footsies. Actually, the K dandy step into a pile bunker, completely avoiding the round start 3K. And too heavy from a perfect distance. This is such a lovely button. If your opponent is hitting anything at all that is low profile, it's just gonna die straight up. And even buttons like, you know, 5K, I think what Ruby was pressing in that situation, if they can't reach you, and it's reasonable to assume that the 5 heavy, sorry, not 5 heavy, but the 2 heavy from Slayer has more range than many of your buttons. Slides in there, good tech. However, it's a heavy Dolphin, Wire sees it. How do we get out of here? There we go. That's a button on S-Dolphin. That's definitely the kind of stuff that we're gonna need more. Try to press a button there, however, Ruby from that drift RC again recognizes the position perfectly.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
A little delay there between the 2 heavy into Mappa. Gets the hit, but then Ruby pounces out of the corner, starts the pressure into another overhead kiss. Generally, after you have had a combo already and go for a throw in the corner, the wall is gonna break really, really fast. Were we blocking? We were indeed blocking, not getting a clean punish. Both players going airborne again. It's really, really important that you know, either throw Master's Hammer on landing or then go for a jump out so that it can't produce like massive amount of plus frames for Slayer. Ooh, cool combo from a 5D. What? Did we wake up with a blood-sucking universe? Again, a little too naughty this time. Not twice in a row. Ruby was just completely out of range this time and smacking the opponent with, was that 6 heavy counter hit as well? There we go, Master's Hammer. That's a lot of plus frames. Ruby was like, all right, meter was burned in this situation. Let me burn my own as well. And I think Master's Hammer also guard crushes, right? So because there was an RC there that actually negates the guard crush, which you can't guard crush, you can't wire C guard crushes, right? I'm not crazy, am I? So with just the guard crush, there wouldn't have been an opportunity to wire C, but with the RC, the explosion radius landing, making the wire C available. Yeah, you can't. All right.
Duel 1.
Still knowing the basic mechanics of the game, that's always good. There we go, the 5k challenge on ZoKHiZ. Ruby has played a plethora of different kind of RPS options after both of those dolphins. Yep, tried to go for a 2k this time. However, the Vampire, the Nightless 5k, is an infamous one, both for Slayer and for Nagoriyuki. Reaches really far away and offers a little bit of low invulnerability on that front leg. So should be able to counter poke a lot of those, at least that made 2k from that distance.
Duel 2.
A really important momentum point for Nepal. Would definitely love to break the onslaught of Rubies here. And Dolphin, there we go, we got the challenge. Ooh, and the big counter hit with It's Late. Going into a basic combo. Looking to dance around the opponent. It's the glow slash. Don't have the 50 meter to get the hard knockdown wall break, but any hit should be good here. Skips him to the opponent's guard immediately with the S Dolphin RC. 6k, low invulnerable. Offers some extra capabilities. Trying to go for a wake-up throw. However, Ruby completely, perfectly spaced outside of the throw range. Could still be anybody's game, but Nepal will have to take a block string here. Oh, he did a very tricky split. That was a split, right? Like an instant split into a command grab. Yeah, what May has lost, historically, nice anti-air with 5k. You definitely need those, especially on the early mentioned split, because you can now break your dolphins into kind of like a small hop, which does require anti-air actions from your opponent. If you don't want to take your nice, recognizes that anti-step is way too close and we can throw it. To the left, right, close slash counter hit. Knows that could potentially kill because Nepal was holding 50 meter there. Again, really great jump out of the Master's Hammer and up Dolphin. We're out of there. Ooh, skips to the other side. 6-6 close slash lands on the other. Landing on the other side once again. P Dandy step through into the low follow-up.
That they cannot change society.
Yeah, really good time for Nepal to wake up here. Unless Ruby is gonna run away with way too much lead to, make this still competitive comfortably. To the other side. Ooh, I like that idea. Trying to snap trying to target the landing frames of the Dolphin, especially if you overshoot a lot. What was that angle? The jump heavy cross up, catching that with the 6 heavy counter hit. This is gonna be a lot of damage, and we have a follow, or rather an ender here in the form of 50 meter as well. That's nasty. So that's another knowledge check here. If May player plays a lot of It's Late catches the split there. If the May player plays a lot of up dolphins in the corner, it's going to be plus for her if you just block it. But if you can walk backwards like a micro step, big counter hit from Master's Hammer, immediate burst. You already know. Delayed. The backdash seems to take Ruby to a perfect distance. Again, look at that. Many other characters would still maintain the distance in the too heavy range of Slayers, and that's a really nasty range to be at, because many characters just can't challenge Slayer very easily out of that too heavy, unless you have like a super long-reaching far slash, and even that can sometimes just get outpoked if you're not fast enough. Ooh, was that a miss input? We get the punish? No, we have 50 meter in the tank, so we can actually keep up the pressure. That's what's up. Ruby just wanted to, create real estate out of nothing. And if you have 100, it doesn't matter if the super whiffs, it doesn't matter if it's blocked. You can RC it and keep the party still going. That's the counter hit Dolphin that we were mentioning earlier, allowing you to get a throw follow-up afterwards. Now Ruby blowing forward, gets an instant air dash jump heavy, the classic. Snatches the opponent out of the sky as well. YRC the last option, even with the plus 10. I think Nepal went for something very slow there after YRC, which ended up being jabbed by Ruby. Critical miss there on the 2 heavy. Nepal's turn to get something done. Big commit frame trap into Pile Bunker. Pretty decent damage as well. I think there was a couple of hits of risk accumulated before that. So making damage skyrocket massively. Nepal is still on positive bonus. That also means that defensive modifier extra one is applied on you. Pile Bunker! Even though that hitbox is not quite what it used to be in the past, let me tell you, you don't want to go into Exert Dust Loop Wiki and check out that hitbox of that move. That used to be so large, but it is still disjointed. It is still Pile Bunker, and it still beats quite a lot of stuff. Right through the wall we go. Nice jump once again out of the Master's Hammer. Like, if there's like one thing that I'm really impressed by Ruby is sort of like playing themselves out of that Master's Hammer situation very, very often. Backdash goes through before Ruby gets there. Try to take a deep dash in order to try to get better use of the plus frames. And the charge 6 heavy into an instant split and a command grab. Another classic in the modern Mei era. However, won't be able to bring it home. Nepal is still sticking to Ruby, even though there is a two game buffer between the players. Straight into a blitz. Blitz split. Gonna throw as well. Do you dare to press buttons at this range? Like, that's so dangerous. Whiffing a 5 heavy, or rather, like, so dangerous for the opponent to try to challenge. I am scared shitless if I see Mei, like, swinging 2 heavy in front of me. Like, I feel confident maybe with punishing that button on, like, mid-screen distance, but what if it's, like, just outside of the reach? Right, Ruby has 50 to combine this with. Immediately goes S, Dolphin, RC. And again, at that point, if the opponent has so little health, whether it hits or is blocked, no matter, we can keep it up. Counter hit Dolphin into overhead kiss combo this time. Not getting the finisher, but still a decent chunk of damage has been scored. Get back into the corner, and now split into, what's it gonna be? Oh, the inputs might have been messed up here because of Master's Hammer. Got a beach ball summon instead, and a perfect burst bait. Doesn't quite get the punish, but the damage has been done already. That means there is no escape out of this block string or the combo that ensues after that burst is missed. And now Ruby drawing close to that 7 points here. Nice counter poke. Not quite getting I think committed into an anti-step instead of pressing one of the faster follow-ups. Alright, positive bonus has been acquired. Gets a nice Mappa starter combo. On a counter hit, you can link 5k or similar buttons. Now, Nepal's time to go for a big burst bait. However, just like Ruby previous round, was a little too far to get a clean punish afterwards. Nice good side switch combo. And the wall break as well. Perfect. Perfect distance. Sometimes at that distance when you go for the last Pile Bunker, even though it is hard-coded to slam them against the wall instantly, sometimes you're a little too far for that to trigger. But that was just perfect spacing there for that combo to happen. Missed the counter hit combo into 5k this time. Not gonna miss it for spending an RC. In fact, with the RC, we can double it up, go for the the Pile Bunker loops. I wanted to use the more dirty term, but maybe we're PG enough to not use that term anymore. Burst bait does end up getting a little bit of value there. The gold burst still came out for Nepal, and because that is point blank distance, it ended up being not really punishable. It's like -2 or -3 on the gold burst. So Nepal not giving up yet, but still, the fact of the matter remains, we have to get 3 in a row here. We have to get so many rounds if we want to still come out of this matchup as victorious. As far as Nepal is concerned, peddling those far slashes as if we were Soul Bad Guy, and then into the fully charged 5D hit confirmed. Almost a kill, not quite. Ruby still standing with a couple of health. 5k, yes, those are exactly what we need. I've been actually waiting for Nepal to, even though Slayer is not really that kind of character, just having the bravery to press a button into those dolphins, because they are technically like old classic blankables in essence. As long as you have a hitbox in there, it is gonna get counterpoked. The dolphin is gonna get stuffed. It's just really fast. Ooh, has a little bit of RPS. Delaying enough for that 6p for Nepal to whiff, and then going for a whiff punish with Far Slash. Instant air dash in. We would definitely love to get those as often as possible. Seize the opportunity to go for a 6p. Wow, these are Slayer rounds. It's been, what? It feels like it's been like 40 seconds since we were talking about how Nepal needs so many rounds in a row, and then straight into the windscreen. This is exactly what Slayer can do to you. The damage is super high. There seems to be a little bit of a hiccup in the connection, probably why the players ended up breaking and waiting for a couple of seconds. All right, back into the game. Got the S Dolphin, and there's the challenge, this time with a Far Slash. I think the Far Slash for Slayer is probably the backdash callout, because it is a Far Slash that moves you forward and can get you probably in a distance to counter ball, or rather catch backdash from May. Big commit from, I guess, medium-sized commitment with that pile bunker if you have the 50 meters to follow it up. Again, great jump out of the Master's Hammer has been Ruby's forte this matchup. And then the S Dolphin RC looking for one more hit. Is that the hit we're looking for? Yes, indeed. Wall sticks and gets Ruby a clean set point position here. First one of the set, I think. Ooh, that's a big commitment. Yeah, that's a close slash punish. And I think it's exactly -7. So, you know, if you know your frame data, you're like, all right, I can actually get a clean close slash here. Or is it minus more? It's minus enough to get a close slash either case. Whoop. We'll be able to break out of that, and now one more hit to take it all. 2p doesn't combo into too heavy, and then the Totsugeki whiff punish. S Dolphin coming in clutch once again. So fast. But I mean, so are both of the forward-moving special moves from these characters. Beat them up a hunch, or the S Dolphin. Really quick at getting there. Great back-to-back set. Nepal almost was able to make the comeback, but not quite. And Ruby showcasing that we indeed got a very standard, you know, entry-level May on the deck. God, the funny thing is, I keep pulling out the player cards, and those are the cards from last week. So I'm like, ah, dang it. All right, heading to the Potemkin sequence of the week. And the next one is gonna be interesting. It's ZoKHiZ coming up next. All the Finns are super excited when the Grandpa Potemkin is still indeed on Potemkin after the previous patch. Let me fix a couple of things, and then we can talk a little bit of history here, ladies and gentlemen. So the short version of the story is that Zok never really liked the vanilla Potemkin design and kind of dipped, picked up different characters such as like Nago, Leo, Asuka even, all that kind of jazz on the way. But he sort of got back on the Potemkin train when they nuked Pot's Kara inputs and modified his playstyle to sort of align a little bit more with the olden times. But I mean, then they gave the Karas back, and I think ZoKHiZ wasn't like exactly happy with that, because he doesn't really like the Kara, the new age Kara inputs with Potemkin. So very understandable. Very hardcore classic Potemkin player at heart. Played XX, played Exert with, you know, Potemkin as a main. So it's understandable for super old players like this to not really vibe with the new design. But now with Season 4 Potemkin changes, maybe it's worth enough to commit to the character once again. But now what ZoKHiZ is committing into is the killing combo of this round number 1. Ooh, the armor on the slide head actually able to pull through when ZoKHiZ goes in for a YOLO dive. There's another dive. It is multi-hit, so do the dives actually, maybe in certain circumstances, might be able to drill through stuff like Hammerfall, maybe. Ooh, with the witch mix-ups, is it high, is it low, or it could also be a throw in certain circumstances, especially if Ino has 50 meter going in. Wow, just goes for a throw, reversal back throw, however, tries to double it up, tries to jump in for a mix-up. ZoKHiZ just reacting, pressing the button, smacking the grappler out of the sky. And just like that, ZoKHiZ takes the first one. Oh yeah, there's also a little bit of inside information that I think ZoKHiZ is currently working on a new button layout, which could be because of, like, if you are a super old school Potemkin player, they've changed a lot of his inputs recently in Strive. So a lot of the special moves actually are inputted with a completely different button than they used to be in XX or XX or Exert. Sorry, that's a lot of X's. Very delayed Matt Love. So he's kind of initially able to jump out. And once again, there we go! Into a counter hit conversion. This should be a kill, because this ender does quite a lot of damage. And if you were in the corner, that's gonna force a stage shift as well. There we go with the 5B. Tries to rev up at 6 heavy. That might have been a miss on Hammerfall, potentially. Once again, 5B, the button of choice to take the witch out of the sky. Nice flick! Allowing ZoKHiZ to buy all of this, or rather claim all of this real estate. Get out of there, close slash. Now, using the armor, able to beat lots of plus frames from the gun. And, like I said, this is gonna force the wall break immediately with a soft kind. But the positive bonus is the big reward that ZoKHiZ is gonna be getting. No burst from ZoKHiZ, that's very brave, holding on to it. And I think ZoKHiZ didn't even go for a hard bait there, just following up, trying to follow up with a kill, which ultimately ended up whiffing. So if it's an interesting kind of RPS situation, because even if you make the wrong decision, technically, you could sometimes come ahead if the opponent makes a mistake. Alright, dropping him in the corner. Again, the reversal back throw is what starts the party again for ZoKHiZ. That is very minus. Here comes the 5-frame Potemkin Buster, which is now in the modern patches also armored. What's the startup frame of the armor though? Is it on frame? Is it frame 5? Or is it earlier into the startup? Yep, we got the punish. Ooh, get the burst on the way out there as well. And now ZoKHiZ looking really good. I like it. I think that was a deliberate drop there on the combo, because ZoKHiZ knew that was not gonna build enough meter to break the wall with a super. Coming down with a jump D. That was not only a timing RPS, but is it gonna be left or is it gonna be right? I didn't even see which side that was. But ZoKHiZ spending a lot of resources on this pressure sequence, but as long as you can keep it up, as long as you don't have to play defensive against Potemkin of all characters, but eventually this has to happen, especially when Potemkin has so much meter. Oh dear God, Lord. And then into the Buster. I think that kills right, yeah. Even though a lot of stuff has had their numbers tuned down, also Potemkin Buster no longer like 200 damage. Or who knows, it might actually be 200 damage on Ino's defensive modifier. Either way, even with the reduced damage, still does absolutely sick ton of damage. Ooh, Madlove actually activating faster than the flick from ZoKHiZ. Going into the node, and then the mix-up city begins. We have a lot of options here. Drifts into nice whip punish there on the jump D. That is indeed one of the most, one of the safest play. If you think Potemkin players are gonna go for the jump D, just try to make it whiff. It's really hard to challenge. Make it whiff instead. Punish the landing is the safest play. Nice, able to get a frame advantage on that missed 5 heavy. Going in with the dive, or rather the stroke the big tree, is what started this combo really close to killing. Oh, I wonder what ZoKHiZ tried to do here. Probably like the immediate reaction would usually be like 6p when you see Chemical Love, right? Good use of deflect shield. It's gonna be usually your go-to main defensive method against Potemkin if it's a Garuda Oki, right? ZoKHiZ burning. The re-jump over the opponent's bottoms to 2 heavy whiffs, but it doesn't matter. We're still in basically a boxing distance. And what is Ino with her limited amount of movement options gonna do? Just gonna have to come into like a jump, air dash, or just pressing forward. Ah, missed the throw. Was that a miss on Karabuster? I think ZoKHiZ is still one of those players who don't necessarily have like 100. Ooh, but here comes a big combo. These are the ones that ZoKHiZ has been planning. Drops the combo earlier in order to get a couple of extra hits from the Gigantor. That was a sexy setup indeed. I think many Potemkin players would utilize all of the hits of the Gigantor for the combo and then just go for a wall break, but ZoKHiZ was like, nah, I'll actually reset here and then I'll have the Gigantor still going in, and if I get a hit, I can just get a kill there straight up without even interacting with the wall. Because you probably don't want to go back to neutral against... I mean, I guess it's a coin flip. I think Ino is better at neutral than you, maybe? At least was in the past, but I'm not actually sure how Strive is considered. Ooh, yeah, that's definitely one option that beats the Karabuster round start. Just dash forward. The unique movement option of Ino's is gonna take you airborne, put you in that float dash. And therefore, you're gonna be throw-in vulnerable as well. I really like the movement from Datgar, trying to bob and weave. But for a 6p, however, really hard to challenge that jump D, even with the go-to, the de facto anti-air of the game. Ooh, reset here, not willing to break just yet, because I think Datgar knows. Plus frames into, so close to another super. It was almost a perfect sequence, but now ZoKHiZ will get out of the, ooh, counter hit into. Now we're cashing it, right? Or wall break into. Yeah, cash out the most damage. This should be a kill. Damn, from that one Gigantor. I mean, it was a close slash starter, right? It was one of the bigger starters for Potemkin. And if that hit you can follow up with a Gigantor, oh my god, this character does so much damage. Especially in the corner. I think I was talking about ZoKHiZ about this like some time ago. And the combos are not necessarily like as hard hitting if you're far away from the corner, but as you're nearing the corner, they're gonna get really big. Looking for a successful hit here, not just any hit, but can we throw it? Yes, indeed. 6k does move you forward. Ooh, but misses the timing on the meaty, or perhaps was going for a throw himself, Datgar. ZoKHiZ has tried that classic reversal throw quite a bit. Ooh, the very late dive here. Nice, gets a whiff punish on the 6p. Still a very nice distance. Ooh, there we go! The horizontal dive actually producing multiple hits and breaking ZoKHiZ out of the armor. And now through the wall with the super we go. We're gonna get a setup here. Options are open for ZoKHiZ though. Deflect shield and 50 meter are open, however, so many resources available for Datgar as well. What's it gonna be? Yeah, just goes for a Heavenly Potemkin Buster. Even if it doesn't find its mark, ooh, flick into. Very delayed Buster here. That's the option that cashes out on your respect. So 6k normally quite minus on block, so it's technically a move that you have to cancel to something. And like you could frame trap with a flick, or you could delay the Buster so much that if they're scared of the frame trap, they're gonna get caught. Or you might try to go for a heat knuckle. Ooh, just walking back actually makes the Karabuster whiff there at round start. I think most characters should be able to backwalk out of that, right? Under all circumstances. But of course, Potemkin has pretty far-reaching normals that he can use to actually call out your backwalk if you try to do so. A smart place by Datkar. Doesn't position himself under Potemkin because the threat of that jump D is massive. Back off instead and threaten the landing frame punish. Here we go. Has the 50 meter. I think we're gonna burn here. Yes, indeed. Because why wouldn't we? Massive damage. And Datkar probably... I'm not sure. I didn't check if Datkar actually had the meter to burst there, but even if they did, wouldn't have been a great move. Got it a little too far there. Datkar recognizes and goes for a chemical lump punish instead. The note has been set. The pressure paths are open. The jump D manages to get an extra overhead hit. Can we disengage? No. Going airborne. Tries the 5D, but Datkar so ready to react to those overheads. Perfect distance for a counter poke. A chemical love. Ooh, since the opponent is airborne, that heat tackle is going to be ZoKHiZ's advantage. Usually would be a close slash punish for the opponent. Nice jump out of the buster. ZoKHiZ has so much meter though. Are we going to go straight into the super? No, we're baiting it. We're baiting it. Is he going to come out? When is he going to come out? Datkar delays it enough, gets a gold one. Maximum value, but ZoKHiZ goes for it as well. But look at this amount of meter. The amount of meter that Datkar is working with. This could be a throw. A super throw even. No, just keeping up the pressure for now. Finds the hit. Frame trap with S. Choke the big tree. And that's going to be the nail in the coffin. Datkar ain't going to go down that easily. This is a classic momentum shift time. Ooh, tried to 6 heavy there on the landing. That would have been a big counter hit if it landed. Into the buster. Lots of damage. One more of those and it's going to be over for Datkar. Caught the backdash. Ooh, what are we buffering? Heavenly? This time Datkar did not go airborne though. So Datkar trying to mount a comeback here. Very far from that 50 meter. And Potemkin, oh god, pulling him back from the sky into the mix-up. And no matter if it's the strike or the throw, if anything lands, it's gonna be so much damage. Unless you block the heat knuckle with an FD block. Very different from the past. It used to be just an unblockable hit crab, but in Guilty Gear Strive, it actually just pulls you back onto the ground. But because of Strive mechanics, it might as well be like almost as potent as it was in the past. Instead of just instant damage, you get to put the opponent in a strike throw. Oh, lots of heat tackle whiffs here for ZoKHiZ. I mean, it is definitely a hard commit option. If the opponent presses anything, goes airborne, that heat tackle is gonna catch them. And I mean, Ino goes for like aerial movement a decent bit, like the dives from air positions, stuff like that. Chemical loves. Reasonable to assume that Ino is gonna be in the air decent amount of time. Just wakes up with a buster. Are we gonna burn? Nope. Saving the 100. There are so many ways of ending this. Is this enough though? This is 2 hits into the combo, I think, but it is with an RC, right? Yeah, it is gonna be enough. ZoKHiZ recognizes the threshold for a kill. And the threshold for a set point has been reached as well. The classic hammerfall break into the buster. What is this? Exert or something? Misses the big mix-up this time, and now Datkar has to work really hard to make this comeback. Not only at a life disadvantage, but also a round disadvantage. And Potemkin, ZoKHiZ is building so many resources as well. Has to spend the blue burst here. Oh, got caught on the landing frames. Perfect timing once again for Datkar. But we're a little lacking on those tension resources. I mean, we got the Wild Assault ready to be released, but I think that's not the best for... Oh, had to burst immediately. Yeah, that heavenly would have killed otherwise. So now, still able to catch the backdash, or not perfectly catch it, but at least not get thrown yourself, and able to push the offense afterwards. Datkar still alive somehow. Starts with the 2S into a combo. we can break, and I think we do, especially at this early stage of the round. We can be a little more fancy once we get to the latter part of the set, or rather the round. And once again, ZoKHiZ going for the blue burst in order to prevent the wall break situation from happening. Back to the neutral, finds a glow slash hit, and into the Gigantor we go. How are we gonna play it this time? Yeah, just cash out full combo. It isn't gonna be a kill yet. And now ZoKHiZ defending with all resources on this heart knock. Sorry, that wasn't a heart knockdown. Oh, goes under the chemical lab. I think that might have actually been a successful flick as well. But the strike portion of the flick just taking down ZoKHiZ out of the sky. And Grandpa ZoKHiZ. Successful victory on Bounty Hunters with Potemkin. I think it's been a while, hasn't it? Or was ZoKHiZ's previous match actually a win on pot? Yeah, I think it was. Right. So ZoKHiZ has been winning on pot since the S4 switch. But I mean, there's been an interesting period of like sort of being a little like underperforming a little, considering your sort of your status and your skill level in the community for ZoKHiZ for a very long time. Because ZoKHiZ has been running between or jumping between characters quite a bit, and like some of them haven't been a perfect match, stuff like that. But it feels really good to see ZoKHiZ on pot again, for sure. All right, 2 more to go. First one of them would be our North America versus Norway matchup. That would be Masked Soul versus Thunder Kitty Johnny. Once again, a big thank to Thunder Kitty for jumping in on such a short notice to replace the previous opponent that had to jump out. Indeed is looming at the end of the round, looming at the end of the schedule is a Potemkin mirror between Gentleman and Swag. So if you're excited for Potemkin footage, definitely don't tune out just yet. We're gonna have that matchup in roughly 20 to 25 minutes after the current one, which is gonna be Masked versus Kitty. So we definitely got our roles assigned in this matchup. Soul, the guy who just wants to strike at you, the /peddler, the strike throw champion, definitely wants to get in and brawl. Whereas Johnny is a little bit more keep away oriented, gets to start the round a little bit earlier if we think that range advantage gives you also an advantage to get the first word in, then indeed, it generally is the Johnny player who gets to set the pace in this kind of matchup. It kind of goes without, kind of goes with the type of archetype Soul is. You gotta work your way in, but once you're there, it feels really good, and it's kind of like easy. Not I don't want to say easy, but Soul definitely has the tools to stick onto you for a very long time. A very basic far slash pressure reset already does wonders, builds a lot of risks, and really wants to really makes your opponent want to press buttons, which you can then counter hit with like basic strings such as like far slash into 5 heavy, bam, and the opponent is dead. If you can do the new combos, I guess there is that aspect to the new season 4 Soul. is that the clean hit Fafnir combos, the maximum damage combos, can be a little tricky to achieve. I guess that's why we generally haven't seen a lot of the optimal stuff done by our Sol participants so far. I guess the consensus is that the general damage output of Sol has gone up a little. The problem is, to achieve that damage output, you also have to do really difficult combos. So I guess that's why we've seen a slight decline in Sol player base. It's also, I mean, it could be just because like your combo routes have been once again completely redone. Like, it has happened so many times so far. I was actually one of the victims of that initially when was it? It was around the time when Sol like 6S got nerfed. They also changed his combo paths a little. Yeah, it has happened so many times back in the day as well when I was playing Sol. But especially this new transition when the combos, especially the optimal combos, are so different now. So we have Kitty ready to go. What about Mast? No word as of yet. Should we actually start considering the prospect of maybe playing Gentleman versus Swag first? Let's do just in case. I mean, it's a little cursed event already, considering everything. So, what's a little bit more cursedness on top of the pile? 3 in the morning? Isn't East Coast, for East Coast it would be like around noon at the moment. Let me see. Time in. Yeah, it's a little bit past noon, right? Which, you know, it has been sort of a mix-up thing for our North American players, but since Mast has been on, you know, many times before, I think this matchup, the time zone matchup, doesn't apply to him anymore. Oh, West Coast? Oh, I might have accidentally said West Coast, but I mean East Coast, of course. I definitely, let me say this much, I would not match West Coast North American players with Europeans. That shit just doesn't quite work. The threshold is at East Coast versus West Coast, or like East Coast NA versus West Coast Europe. So out of the Potemkin pair, we got Swag saying that they could indeed hop on. But the problem seems to be from both pairs that we have left. One of the player is missing. But it's no worry. We can talk more smack about, you know, season 4. What else? We could talk about how Potemkin matchup has always been very interesting throughout the ages. Because like often in Potemkin mirrors, there's been a particular kind of peculiarity about the matchup where since a lot of your stuff is armored and stuff like that, it's usually the Potemkin that does something first is gonna have the disadvantage going into the next interaction. if, say, both Potemkin players were to do the same thing around at the same-ish time, it's usually the Potemkin that does it later comes out of that that situation as victorious. And it kind of holds true in Strive as well. You have stuff like Armored Sleight Head, which, you know, the longer you hold on to your armor, the better. Same with Heat Tackle, Armored Move, same concept. Hammerfall, same concept. Is like the Potemkin player who maintains their armor for the longer time should theoretically be the one that wins the situation. It would be super cursed if for some reason we just have both of our last matchup slots missing a player. I mean, it could be the fact that usually players also expect Bounty Hunters to be a 7-slot match. So if on a short notice we turn from a 7-slot match into a 6-slotter, then that means naturally that the time schedule is gonna shift a little. And you're generally gonna play like maybe 25 minutes earlier than anticipated. And some players really like to time their matches like pretty accurately. Because like it's you know, you're spending a lot of time doing an event like this. And you know, we all have stuff to do. We all have real lives as well. It's not like we're playing video games all day long, every day, every night. Is it, guys? Is it? That's not the case, right? You're going outside, touching grass, working out, talking with the girls, all that kind of jazz. Winter vacation, I do play video games all day long. Ah, dang it. I mean, it's not too bad as well. The benefit of grinding is that, you know, you're gonna increase your playtime, and that definitely does something for your progress. I mean, it does quite a bit of stuff, I want to say. It's usually at the like super higher level where we're starting to reach positions where, like, you've played fighting games for such a long time that a more pressing, it's way more important to have a really good mental and have like consistent drive and stuff like that, where you might not be able to just play the game anymore, but you have to actually do stuff outside of the game, such as like working out, optimizing your diet so that you don't have brain fog, that you're, you know, actually when you're playing you're awake, stuff like that. I can wholeheartedly actually recommend Science Supply from Gentlemen, maybe. Sorry, looking at the Twitter side as far as what's gonna happen next, if anything is gonna happen. What grass? That's actually a good question, because it is technically winter at the moment, especially if you're living in the northern hemisphere. So it looks like Gentleman is not in a condition to play the match at the moment. And because Mast is not here either, there was a request from Thunder Kitty to play an FT7 versus Strelitzia instead, which, you know, I'm fine. I will oblige. If the two last matchup slots of our event are not gonna happen anyway, I mean, might as well replace with something else. Okay, okie dokie, so I guess it's gonna be a surprise extra Strelitzia match. I'm not sure which characters are gonna be on the screen. But I assume Thunder Kitty is gonna still play Johnny, which is her main character. Johnny versus Asuka? Alright. So, mains it is. Kawabanga it is. There is a little bit of, you know, skill difference between the players, but that'll make it even more interesting when Thunder Kitty manages to pull off some sick-ass moves and potentially get some W's in there. I think this is this the first time in Bounty Hunter's history where we're gonna have a double slot for one player? We used to have a lot of those back in the day when we did Exert FT7s and the community was considerably smaller and there just was, you know, very limited amount of players in the player pool, so you could only have so many options for replacing players with one another. Let's say if you have like an, for example, European active competitive community of maybe like 50 people or something, that's kind of generous, and getting them all on at the same time would be kind of crazy. We used to have this with this type of switcheroo quite a bit more, but I think this is the first time for Bounty Hunters. So Johnny versus Asuka. We're gonna get more Asuka, triple Asuka. Oh baby. You know, it's no secret that QK loves Asuka quite a bit. So cool tools for Johnny are probably gonna be the Mistfinder, as you might imagine. That fast, half-screen reaching tool that can cut through a lot of projectiles instantly. Which probably means that Asuka will have to find slightly different kind of angles, slightly different kind of positions, whereas maybe standing on a round start distance or a little further away, like maybe extended round start distance, such as the one that you get put in soft knockdown wall breaks, you're probably gonna have to stand a little bit further away, because there's always a risk that the Johnny player could do a Mistfinder and just take their turn. Deal into you, crush your guard, you run out of mana, everything is horrible. You know how it can go. You might actually have to move your character around a little, maybe jump around, jump into instant air backdash, try to create distance, and then Johnny's job, maybe chase you a little bit more. We'll see. I mean, oh, let's switch the, oh yeah,
Society. So
let's flick Strelitzia here. Actually, let's use the options from earlier. This one. Thank Hillel for this score screen app that I started using after all the other horrid ones that we've been going through. All right, so another Strelitzia Asuka matchup against a fellow country player, Thunder Kitty Johnny. Both Norwegians. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, nice. Read both the DP as well as the burst. I think Kitty's definitely a player who loves to go for baits on stuff like bursts, wire seas. Really perceptive of the opponent. What? Jump K? Very nice angle. I mean, realistically speaking, I think Strelitzia with the 5k anti-air attempt there, if I saw that correctly. Right now from the guard crush, able to get a full hand back, and those bit shifts that Strelitzia is holding currently are super valuable because they are some of the only attack spells that he has currently. Like we said, that can't forget the name of that move again, arpeggio, because you can't just cast arpeggio normally. And as I was talking shit, Kitty actually taking the round. Okay, is this how it's gonna go? Is Johnny that good? Is Strelitzia out of steam after playing one FT7 already? Right, assuming the position that we know from Asuka, standing up full screen, casting spells. Was this acceleration staff? I think because it came from test case 1. Yeah, acceleration, so every single standard cube not only moves forward faster, but also guard crushes. With arpeggio, open it into a really nice mix-up. So we saw so many different kinds of mix-ups from Strelitzia already. We got the teleport to the other side, we got like jump into high-low, but we also have the dash jump over, and then try to modify the, I assume the mix-up is try to modify the timing with which you cross the opponent with that dash jump when the volleys of orbs are hitting you. I tried to, ooh, okay, even after the Screamer, we'll have time to cast and get Kitty out of that engagement. Cast in the air. Ooh, I like it. So many different angles that you don't usually see spells casted on. Now cast the spell. Get another full hand of spells. Strelitzia at the moment in a little tough situation in terms of spells. Going for the mulligan super would be really good. There we go. Stack your hand with good spells. I mean, technically, Strelitzia actually accepted immediately the hand that they got there, I think. Were they just happy with the cards they got, or is there like a button that you end the super immediately? I kind of forgot how it works. Or it could have also been that Strelitzia ran out of mana and couldn't shuffle anymore, because it does cost a lot of mana nowadays. Right, Screamer, get the wall, the guard crush, and then 6k for a low. However, Kitty gets out of there, guard crush, and now this is where all of the Johnny player paths converge. Once you get the wall, the guard crush, you can really turn up the heat and do some nasty stuff. 2k counter poking Strelitzia from that position. Frame trap into OVA. Very delayed OTG burst from Strelitzia. Doesn't want to go bust just yet in terms of the mana. And now, even though we are kind of in a low health position, in a position like this, you probably want to still use your health to recharge your mana when you get the opportunity, because you don't get those opportunities to recharge too often. Reversal super shouldn't break the mana shield yet, I believe. No, never mind, we'll just break it right there, and straight into the TK Mistfinder. Even a little kiss is gonna end it. Alright, the classic starter. When you start your hand with... What is that spell called? It's like auto-fills your hand immediately. It's the one that Strelitzia is holding at the moment. It's really cool if you get to cast all of your spells and then just cast the hand-filling spell last and just get 4 spells instantly. Especially if you want to switch to a different test case. So you can between your last spell cast and then... Oh, it's not Strelitzia's point, it's actually Kitty's point. So you can get you can cast all of your spells, switch test case, and then get a full hand from that particular test case. A trick utilized especially for test case 3. Alright, choosing to go for a very early burst. The instant air dash into Screamer does catch Kitty, but now able to get the Screamer out again. That Screamer is such a good spell, honestly. We got a decent mix of buffs here. I think the Meta Golem is active here. All the good buffs. As well as the... Is this the... Wait, this is not a... This is actually not a Black Hole staff, is it? Ooh, the reach of the spell actually Gets there. There we go, Strelitzia would like to cast this arpeggio, but it's like, yeah, thinking about it, but can't really do so before a hard knockdown or before putting the opponent in a block stun long enough. And I think these players play decently, like a decent amount of time with each other already. So I think Kitty should probably be aware of, you know, how a lot of, you know, different kinds of Asuka hands actually function. So if there is no attack spells, but only arpeggio, you probably want to just pounce Asuka because they can't cast anything. But in this situation, oh boy, are we actually casting so many cubes. Disgusting. Makes a miss there on the combo. PRC the fix. We still have potential chip damage victory here for Strelitzia. Actually finding the manual timing into a delayed cube for a frame trap, which ends up evening it out to 2-2. Man, this is a start of the start to the set that I wouldn't have ever imagined. I thought Strelitzia would actually just run away with the lead. Has Kitty actually improved recently? Ooh, there we go with a glow slash counter hit. That's gonna deal a lot and should break the mana shield as well. There we go, at the very last hit as well. Very damaging Ensenga there to end the deal. Oh, drifting forward and assuming that Mistfinder stands, it's gonna, like, even if you let it go instantly, it's gonna be quite a slow startup. So Strelitzia able to poke Kitty out of that stance. Box to 6k, incoming for the round start as well. Probably a reasonable idea to expect that Johnny is gonna vary their round start options a little, because they have Far Slash, which technically is the button to beat for many characters. So you don't want to be too predictable and use that Far Slash too often. 6k again gets stopped by Strelitzia's spell. I guess it would be good if Strelitzia was trying to run away, right? Alright, clean hand once again. Lots of basic spells. We can definitely work with those. Ooh, trading to the Screamer is pretty good for Strelitzia for sure. Empty hand, get better spells. Better spells is what we love. There's some mix of potential double teleport here. Can we do something with this? Yes, Strelitzia is baiting. Ooh, double teleport. First front, then the back, and then into a 5D. Did you guys react to that? Alright, it's about time that Strelitzia able to get to that driver's seat. But maybe, based on how this has been going so far, it's not like too many things that Kitty has to get right to get that pressure rolling and then getting the W after Strelitzia runs out of those defensive mechanisms. It's an early burst, working for the corner, however, getting a really important cast there on the blue, on the green cube. Empty hand, we fix that with the 50 meter. Accepting the hand immediately. We got Arpeggio, our Lord and Savior. So many bullets coming. Double Arpeggio. Oh god, you're gonna eat some mix-ups. I guess taking the last hit there after the jump over late air, that's not too big of a deal. Because like that doesn't combo into anything very easily. Right, acceleration stat has been planted. But we need spells with that. And spells we got. Nice super jump over, almost being able to dodge the trajectory of the incoming projectiles. Get a couple of throws in there as well. Strelitzia able to feel the hands. Goes into the, there we go, the trick play. Cast all the test case 1 spells, switch test cases, then cast the spell that fills your hand for a very decent lieu of spells from TC3. The strongest, one of the strongest anti-airs in the game. Glows slash, activating from such a far distance. Such a nice button for Johnny if somebody tries to hover over you. Mistfinder active frame's actually not enough to delete the tail end of the Cube Storm. Right, once again, looking for a good hand. Nice, we get the hard knockdown. Do we need to actually recharge mana there? Arpeggio is on go. We got spell, or a couple of buffs active as well. And the break. Lots of options here. Could even cast the super immediately. Although, I wonder, does ZoKHiZ post-flash actually punish the black hole cube? It should be probably a kill. Should get a clean wall break and able to cast the super as well between the casts before the cubes from Arpeggio reach the wall, just in case it wasn't enough damage. All right, taking a couple of games for Strelitzia to start to warm up, and now back to the cube RPS. Two green cubes in hand, and out of the basic standard cubes, I think the green cubes are the most tricky ones, because they release, instead of one cube, they release 3 cubes that start breaking from each other the further they travel. Alright, we got the buff combination in hand. We got incoming waves of cubes. Strelitzia looking good. Trade is kind of neutral-ish looking. After casting a basic cube, once again, opening the Arpeggio. More buffs. Oh, just opting to go for an aggressive play instead of casting any spells. And now the mana shield is in danger for a while. We'll be able to... Oh, is that gonna reach? Not quite. That's kind of what I was thinking about. If you cast something at this range, for example, Asuka Super, would Johnny just be able to go through with like either That's My Name or ZoKHiZ? Both like decently far-reaching far-reaching supers. Forced to cast the hand refill spell with only a couple of slots missing there, and then gets a full refill. 6p between the cubes. It does make sense, because like to frame trap from a cube to cube, for example, you would have to do like a very specific manual delay, which does give options for your opponent to potentially mash after with buttons such as like 6p or maybe even their reversal option. Only DP in hand, discard, get a better one. And this hand, Strelitzia has been actually taking those hands really fast. Like casting the... It's almost as if they are casting the Mulligan Super to just take the immediate... Take the first hand that they see. Which I guess is very mana efficient. Because if you spend a lot of time in the Mulligan state, it's gonna keep draining your mana. And if you're close to a kill anyway, then there's a decent chance that you'll find suitable spells, especially if you do the Mulligan Super at test case 1. There's a really low chance that you don't find something that you need, or something that you can just initiate a block string immediately with. Now only one card in hand, and Kitty, he's able to catch the backdash with a close slash. Dropping the combo before we get to the ender. And do we have the super? No, not quite. Still breaks the mana shield. Oh yeah, Kitty actually ran out of tension there, so didn't have the super capabilities available. Has them now for sure, but look at this. Strelitzia is standing at a spacing where there's not a whole lot of things that Kitty could engage with until they creeped close enough in order to try to mix it up. That's sort of the risk that you take as Asuka when you venture closer. Your mix-up potential goes up because, of course, you are in range for 6 heavy or 6k for high lows, or I mean you're in range for tick throws. You're in range for all sorts of shenanigans, but you also become vulnerable to close range options such as wire seed. There we go, missed finders from half screen away. Tried to unleash the mid shift in order to get to the Arpeggio. Not this time though. Kitty breaks with the soft one, drifting forward, but 2k, I love that. If you press your fastest K button, usually it's gonna sort of force the opponent to drift into your K buttons, which was exactly what happened here when Kitty pressed 2k. Counter probe, the mana shield is back. Do we have a 6p? Yep, pulling Strelitzia back onto the ground. Lots of great spells if we had an opening, but without an opening, this is a horrible hand to try to utilize. I mean, we had one yellow cube, which could start the sequence. Like, cast yellow cube, opponent in block stun, cast arpeggio, opponent in a really long block stun. Apply your buff, get more mana. Could have, I mean, you could see it happening. But it's kind of obvious. If you have only one immediate attack card, of course your opponent will think and try to counterplay that specific attack card. And if it's a basic cube, oh gosh, is there a lot of counterplay to basic cubes. Such as, you know, as Kitty puts on display here. Really close to a mana break. There, pop goes the Weasel. No FD, so... Wait, does FD actually prevent the mana damage from coming in? I think so, because it's based on the like damage or the chip damage that you take, right? Right into the guard crash. Ooh, bluffs another deal there. That's the tricky thing about fighting against Johnny. Sometimes like you have to commit to breaking a agreed sequence from Johnny, but you can't, like it's really hard to see. It's really hard to react when Johnny goes for those. So you might have to commit to, like, against an option that is actually just a frame trap and just will catch you naturally. Especially since, like, a lot of those things will come from a guard crush, and guard crush means that you don't have your auto guard ready. You will just have to manually block the right direction to guard. Finds the frame trap into Mulligan Super. All right, looking good. Level 1 bit shift. Ooh, nice. Again, was able to get the black hole hit. Oh, that's kind of cool. Is that still a hard knockdown? Yeah, it is still considered a hard knockdown. Because the last hit was from black hole cube. What was that hit? Hello? Backwards misfinder? Nasty stuff. I mean, it's a Guilty Gear classic. If you shove your hitbox into the opponent, yeah, they can kind of anti-air you from behind, or they can hit you from behind. We've all seen this. Daisuke's Vision, our Lord and Savior Ishiwatari, created a game where you can attack from behind if your opponent is greedy enough. Lots of bit shift on the table. Ooh, tried to go for a tap dust, spending the 50 tension here. But now, Kitty's offense, able to jump out of that finer and get the arpeggio incoming, and that means mix-up time. I mean, there are a couple of different ways that you could utilize arpeggio. Either just use the block stun to shuffle your resources, or just go for a mix-up. Even if you don't have any spells. Ooh, big counter hit, close that anti-air again. Strelitzia definitely knows the potential of that move, goes for a burst. However, still, even despite that, mana broken in the corner, everything is horrible. Now your guard crushed as well. Or, even better yet, instant overhead TK misfire. That was definitely a rough Sunday afternoon. Again, trying to use the Screamer for a counter evoke, but Kitty just a little bit too far away. Ooh, dancing pad. Chose to use the Terrametron a little too high in the sky, so that didn't reach that time. And of course, we don't want to cast that last DP, so go into the Mulligan Super. This is actually in test case 2, so we got slightly different kinds of buffs, and now look at the arcs of these projectiles. I guess it's a little hard to see, but this increases gravity and makes them bounce, creating slightly different kinds of situations. I think Asuka himself also gains more gravity, so you can do like a little bit more queer kind of mix-ups than what many people are used to. Ooh, missed the card! So that means we just saved it for this combo, right? We were only saving it for the finishing touch here. Initially, I thought that Kitty just straight up missed it. I mean, which probably was the case. I think she probably wanted to slice the card and get the turn up. But hey, happy little accidents. And in the follow-up block string situation, we actually get to utilize the card that is still on the ground. Because the card would only disappear if a massive amount of time passes, right? Or Johnny gets hit. Right, with an basic safe jump setup into... Ooh, that was probably a miss on a TK Mistfire, wasn't it? Super, not quite. Strelitzia still potentially gets the play, has the RPS here. Kitty takes a dash step to the other side. Strelitzia still blocks correctly. However, it is not over. Once you take that one hit in a block string, especially against a character who is on positive bonus, there's a very small amount of chances that you're gonna come out of that block string unless you spend some sort of universal resources. Nice! Low profiling under the cube initially and then casting into Mistfire. And now throw in the corner. Kitty really wants this. Strelitzia is on 6 points. However, Kitty looking like she's gonna come back. Trusted 2D, that was the only projectile that Strelitzia could have used in that situation for their hand was just completely blocked. Now looking for a good hand. What do we got? We got the primary buffs activated. Acceleration staff on board as well, and the cross-up air dash, sorry, the dash jump to the other side mix-up works wonders, and now shoot cubes. One more hit. Terrametron is the one that seals the deal. Strelitzia set point. What can Kitty do here? Both players starting with exactly... Oh, TK DP. Okay. I mean, it makes sense how many Johnny players would just not do anything round start when you have such good buttons as well. Help! These cubes are coming so fast! Bam! Look at that speed. Strelitzia needing one more mix-up to... Ooh, what... Did we make a mistake? The burst has to come up. Oh no! The RPS there! Strelitzia knew that the burst has to come out, but Kitty knew as well. So, ended up delaying the burst because like there was no bursting there. If Strelitzia commits to that full bait, if at any point, even on OTG, you end up bursting, it's gonna be punishable. So then Kitty was probably banking on saving the burst and hopefully getting a pressure situation or like pressure string started and maybe sinking that meter into Orange Wild Assault instead, trying to force mana pop. Alright, another Strelitzia matchup ends up being 7-4, but gosh darn it, I would have never bet money that Kitty gets this many wins. I guess this is the power of having like decent toolkit plus good experience against the character. Because like these players probably play quite a bit because they're, you know, both Norwegians, know each other. Probably a familiar matchup for Kitty. So able to make it extremely interesting, 7-4. All right, let's see what's the status of... Are we gonna have any more matches? As far as I can tell, the players did decide that it is not gonna be played. Sorry, still settling the details. I think the last word is that we are actually playing it. Okay. We are still gonna get the the sixth and the last slot in there. Can you draw Asuka over the soul picture? I could. Just for the heck of it. I think we don't have time though. Or maybe we do? Been like one of the most cursed events in a while, but hey, when you enjoy fighting games, even cursed stuff is blessed, as they say. We do this out of passion anyway. There we go. There they are. Potemkin versus Potemkin. Gentlemen versus Swag. Remind me to put the player colors in there as well. Actually, can I scavenge the player colors from the signups? Oh, never mind. I can't because I don't know the colors by heart. All right, we're doing this live during the intro.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
So Gentleman is gray, Swag is orange. Let's see if it fits in there. Gray does. There we go, that's good enough. All right. So what's going on? Swag has gotten the lead on this round. 5 heavy counter hit, tried to convert it into the last bit, last second touch, last pixel hit. Missing the 6 heavy, no problem. We're still in the corner. We still have the pressure. Backdash Buster does not quite pay out. And now Gentleman's time to push it. Ooh, trading with the Buster. That Garuda is certainly plus a lot, but there is, I guess it depends on if it's a meaty Garuda, you can technically make like Garuda almost, or basically airtight if you want. But unlike non-meaty Garuda, there should be a lot of frames to, you know, do stuff in between. But usually you're gonna be contending with meaty Garuda a lot of the time. Gonna jump in, let's see. We're gonna go into Garuda, another Garuda, and another Garuda. Of course, after the second Garuda, which is not meaty, you're gonna have to take a slightly larger gamble. There's what we were talking about the armors. Whoever starts the armor move after the other Potemkin is probably gonna come out of that situation victorious. And gosh darn it, we got a disconnection again. Cursed thing after cursed thing. I mean, it's understandable. This is kind of quite the far range connection. This is, I believe, Israel to Finland. So reasonable to assume that we might have some connection hiccups here and there. That was... Who won that? QK, hello. Stay sharp. Room rankings. Gentlemen took that. Yeah. A lot of people say that they generally don't like mirror matches. I think it's more of a Like, way more people would say that they don't want to play a mirror match ever. Some reason it because, you know, there's just some really weird peculiarities when it comes to your particular, you know, mirror match. I find that most mirror matches are quite enjoyable. In fact, I usually start learning a match, or rather a character, if I pick it up. If I have another, like, if I have a sparring partner who plays that same character, I'm gonna prefer playing the mirror match at the start, because that's very, very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? You get a lot of useful information when you first learn how to beat your own character, right? So Gentleman is gonna get that one as well. So 2-0. Did we... Please tell me we flipped the... We did not. Fuck my life if this fails. I'm tired, okay? I'm freaking tired. Curse thing after a curse thing. Alright, we're only gonna miss 2 games of footage, alright? And then we're gonna get straight stream of matches, uninterrupted, best footage, Potemkin mirror, you all love that shit. You eat that out of, you know, Arc System Works' hand. And then the best commentary ever, which is, you know, tired as hell QK, talking about some random shit and forgetting to put scores on people. Peak stuff, only on Bounty Hunters. Alright, looking like Sweg is potentially mounting up for the first point here. Off screen as well. We never got to see the turning point of the match. Is this where Sweg takes 7 in a row? Oh, wait a minute. However, with that last pixel, Gentleman could do quite a lot of damage. I wish you could see the meter situation and the burst situation as well on sort of this view. Yeah, look at that. With that last magic pixel, Potemkin has a lot of potential. I mean, we saw those massive combos from ZoKHiZ earlier. You get a good starter, close/starter, combo into Garuda. Massive damage, massive corner carry. Probably gonna kill a lot of targets. Even if your opponent starts with full health, it's gonna melt like 70% of their health pretty easily. The interesting thing is that, like, Potemkin doesn't necessarily have like super high damage on close/starters unless you have certain conditions fulfilled, such as, oh, it's still gonna be Gentleman who takes it, huh? Unless you fulfill like conditions such as you're close to the corner or you have 50 meter ready to be unleashed on a Garuda. Sorry, not Garuda, the Gigantor. Right, 3-0. How does Sweg overcome this?
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Ooh, interesting round start option. Both breaking into hammer or hammerfall break into an RPS situation. But wait, I thought Sweg was going for the Buster as well. But I mean, I guess depending on the timing, the frames might just not align perfectly. 5B starter. It's good enough. We got the opponent downed. Ooh, tried to combo into a blue wild assault. Maybe expecting that the opponent was gonna block, but that was a 2D and actually scored a knockdown. Starting with a wild one, Gentleman using the armor option to break open the round start. Far slash with a very interesting, unique kind of anti-air capability when it comes to Guilty Gear anti-airs from Potemkin. Right, with that 50 meter. skipping into the opponent's guard. That's an interesting pressure sequence. 5B into a tick buster. Player swinging pretty wild here. There we go, the armor frames starting later for Swag. Comboing into the Heavenly Potemkin Buster. I think, so Heavenly Potemkin Buster never breaks the wall, right? But returns. It's the same kind of coding that happens with Zoe R, right? It takes the opponent back to mid-screen. But it has quite a lot of finishing potential, which is sort of the one of the functions of those supers. Ooh, the 5B collides with the armor here. Very expensive drift forward. Does definitely keep the pressure for Swag from the stagger. Got the throw. Not the biggest amount of damage because it's quite prorated. And here comes Gentleman. Ooh, misses the rocket roll completely. And one more hit that Swag is looking for. That low, very deep reaching jump slash from Potemkin though. Can't press that button super early. Switch positions by doing the PRC after Potemkin Buster. And now we are on positive bonus. Ooh! Nice! Instead of going for the throw there. I think many people would have played it safe and just thrown when they see Wild Assault. But Swag is like, no, I'm gonna cash out. I'm gonna do the biggest starter, close slash. But at the end, the tick 5D is what takes the... God, that was so little health left. Ah, the setting actually didn't have time to flick back to normal, huh? There we go. It should be good now. Interesting that it was actually Gentleman who was being like, I'm not sure if I'm, in the right mind space to play this at the moment. But seems like we're doing pretty good.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Oh, interesting. Cancelled the 5B into... Was that a misinput on Karabuster maybe? Or something like that? Speaking of the Karabuster, the backdash able to evade it. What did we press? Ooh, during the early frames of Garuda, it is definitely possible to interrupt it. And if you do, then I guess the mirror just doesn't manifest properly. Ooh, it's actually Swag from the massive minus frames. Goes for a throw, but it's as we said, if the Garuda is not meaty enough, ooh, this should break the, yeah, immediately breaks the armor. That's the one thing that that's the one thing that Potemkin armors can't handle is the super hits. A little earlier on that 5 heavy this time, Gentlemen. This time trying to cash out. Ooh, the timing on the backdash was perfect. Gentleman even walked backwards, micro backward into the close slash and still ended up missing there. Extend the pressure by using RC, deflect shield, resource for resource as they say. There we go, Swags. Armor move has been initiated later, so it wins the exchange. Has to break the wall with a soft one. Now Gentleman, 50 meter in the tank as well as potentially Wild Assault. Swag able to successfully defend against the mirror, which is a big RPS when now they have the Gigantor of their own. Oh! What a situation! Flipping to the other side using Hammerfall, and I think Swag actually touched the armor on the way up and then landed into the cross-up hitbox of Jump Heavy. Very curious. This matchup is really wild. Right, going for the burst on Wake Up. RC to get into the Garuda pressure, finds the hit. Ooh, misses it. But was that a double up or I think a combo miss instead? Oh, interesting. Close slash actually hits high enough, or maybe it's the timing that was able to smack Swag out of that reversal Heavenly Potemkin Buster. I think very few close slashes hit that high. Ooh, the later active hitbox of the 5K actually caught the backdash there, and then following it up with 5 heavy. Swag is slowly turning up the heat. Is this the turning point? Frame trap into Blue Wild Assault, which causes a stagger, which allows you to go into the Buster finisher. Give up the pressure once again. We are in the mix with DJ Garuda. Yep, it's once again the Potemkin player who does it last. Comes out of the situation as victorious. Spending the meter. Unfortunately, I think messed up the FRC trick where you would switch positions with the target. This could be very close to killing. Yeah, RC as well, another one. This will also force a wall break. Certainly gonna kill. Bam! Gentlemen, not willing to let that round, or rather that lead go. Ooh, interesting combo there. That started from a round, from an air to air, right? Garuda once again preventing the jump from going up, and then a tap 5D overhead into. Doesn't get the maximum amount of value for sure. But same with Gentleman. Goes for a Gigantor, taps the 5D, but not able to fully convert into anything. Now out of there this time. I guess it's the timing. If you would delay close slash a lot, then it's still active as Potemkin is ascending. Yo, that was a sick air throw! One of the lowest altitude air throws I've ever seen in my Strive career. And that was from a Potemkin as well, who has the slower jump time. Uh-oh, dangerous, both players with a throw. But then, the one that whiffed the throw earlier, this time comes out as the victorious one. Right, Gentlemen maintaining the massive lead. All right, definitely in the same frame of mind here. Once again, this armor move has started after the other. Landing straight. Yeah, that was a punish as well, so that back throw was just an optimal way to, catch the opponent out of that. He tackle does hit into. With the momentum with YRC, and what a hard read! Catching the forward Mega Fist with a heat knuckle. That's an interesting thing, because there are not a whole lot of things in the game that can just straight up anti-air that thing, forward Mega Fist, or Mega Fist in general. Right, opting to trip the opponent here. Frame jump into flick. Yeah, we are usually a little bit, ooh, nice! With the FRC, we got extra amount of strikes coming in for a swag. Whatever button that hasn't proceeded into the active frames. So Gentleman able to get the grab here, and another one here, but shouldn't kill, right? Yeah, after the stagger, it's usually super prorated. This might build to 50. Attempting the finish. Is it gonna be enough? Another one. Is wall close enough? It will force the break if it is. No, not quite. The most prorated Potemkin combo I've ever seen in my life. Clashing with that far slash? Interesting.
Duel 3.
Jump D, to be fair, if Jump D would not just straight up kill the move that it's trying to counter poke, it's usually gonna clash, even with DPs. Garuda into Garuda, no sir! Gonna catch that gap with a Potemkin Buster. Oh, wait! The opponent wasn't close enough to the ground. Interesting. You gotta be like a mathematician to calculate all the angles and the timings when you gotta actually release that Heavenly Potemkin Buster. Forward Mega Fist from a counter hit. We got a combo. Let's see if it's gonna do enough. It's gonna collide with the... Oh, never mind. It's actually gonna force the wall break here. So Swag survives with a little bit of hit points. Spending the 50 to bring the opponent to the wall. Is that a wall break? Not quite. Maybe even better to not take the wall break here. However, in the follow-up situation, Gentlemen rolling forward. Was that already 7? Did I miscount? That would be the most epic ending to this set if I just miscounted the score. Let me check. Also, howdy raiders from Scatterstream. Unfortunately, we're really close to finishing today. This is the most cursed bounty hunters that we've ever had to run before. Let's see, room rankings. Nope, it is 6-1, so I haven't miscounted. Thank God. At least I had that. At least I was able to count the score properly. But yeah, this is our last matchup of the evening. A Potemkin mirror, would you believe it? I mean, actually, we have quite a few Potemkin mirrors on our time on Bounty Hunters, and it's usually pretty hilarious, to be perfectly honest. Now let's see if Swag can somehow reverse the momentum here. Frame trap once again into the Garuda, into Buster. Standard RPS after Garuda. You're so plus that you can go for either a low, and because it's a guard crush, you know, there's no wiggling out of lows very easily. You can turn the fuzzy jump or churn reversals, anything that is not just normal blocking. Nice flick there on the slide head. Because slide head is technically, from a mechanical standpoint, a projectile, which allows you to flick it with a very nice timing. Going for an F-Shiki. It's like, Gentleman has seen this before. I know how to block this. Very easy, right? Just block the overhead. But now Gentleman has so much meter, gotta be careful with that. It is. Yep, goes for the burst immediately. Heart rate, Heavenly Potemkin Buster, trying to fight the position back that they lost. They indeed get it. Here comes the hit. Garuda hits, and that secures a Potemkin Buster. You have to be mashing on the super, sorry, the burst. This could be the end, and it ends in 5P. The fastest button, massive reach, slaps opponents out of the sky like nobody's business. It is indeed Gentleman who ends up taking this matchup 7-1. Definitely worth it to play it. I mean, it looked like Gentleman's mental was completely crushed before this match. But I mean, like the man said himself, if you don't play, you can't win either. Okay, well, well. We got there at the very end. I mean, I would hope so. But yeah, it's been a little bit cursed today. Lots of matches that didn't happen. Player cards didn't happen. QK was off the mark, but hey, you know. Sometimes we have off weeks, sometimes we have amazing weeks. And I mean, we had amazing matchups this week as well, right? We got a lot of Asuka gameplay, which is honestly super cool. And one of my favorite characters to cast, period. So it's a little early. Let's see what options we would have as per rate targets. Of course, the German-speaking community has their weeklies going on at the moment, I think. What else? Names I don't really recognize. Not a whole lot of events going on either. You could go for a completely random raid target. Oh, this is some sort of an event here. Is this a European event? Beginner bracket number 1, Moth Pit beginner. Sounds cool. Works for me. Let's try this. Alright, thank you so much for watching. If you want to play next week, you know how this goes probably. Join my Discord. The sign-up forms are going to be posted over there in just a moment. And we'll try to find an opponent of equal skill level as well as a good connection to you. It has been fun. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next week. Same time, 5 p.m. CET on a Sunday. Gonna sign up for now. Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry. Bye-bye.